also kind of an awkward thing. It's human resources. This is the department that thinks about people, hiring them, their work, their pay, their benefits, their compliance, their offboarding if that needs to happen, all these sorts of things. It's all very, very human-centric, and then we're entering AI into that space, and I think that naturally there can be a feeling from employees that, well, hey, it was already hard to talk to HR because I was already worried that HR was going to tell whoever, executives, everything I say, and there's always been that kind of trust issue, whether it's merited or not in different organizations. I'd say it's usually not merited. But now there's this machine layer in the middle, and I get the efficiency gains of that, but I could see some pretty extreme intimacy losses on that front. So how have you seen AI being used well in the HR space? How have you seen it being used in a way that might be kind of dangerous or might distance people from each other? Give us some data, give us some insight on how AI is being used, good, bad, and ugly.
We search for what's actually happening with AI in HR right now, both the wins and the messes. Okay. So here's what's really happening. The good news is some of it's actually thoughtful. Unilever's using AI for games to assess skills instead of just screening resumes. And they built an AI assistant that helps with HR questions at 3 a.m. when someone has benefits questions. Companies using AI for personalized learning and early attrition warnings are actually seeing engagement go from 3.2 to 4.1 and retention jump from 75 to 85%. But here's where it gets ugly. Tools like HireView that analyze facial expressions and speech patterns, they penalize people with atypical communication styles. You've got hiring bias lawsuits already in federal court. California just regulated this in 2026 because the risk of discrimination is real. And the trust issue you mentioned? It's legitimate. There's a privacy layer now where companies are passively scanning Slack and email to gauge sentiment, and employees don't always know it's happening.
Wow, yeah. That is a good bit of ugly. That's exactly the kind of thing that I worry about. It's that big brother element. It's that piece of like, I can sort of passively know, I mean, I'm not doing this and won't do this, but I could passively know how people feel about their work based off of what they say, like in a Slack channel or even on a meeting. I mean, everybody's got granola or some sort of meeting recorder, and I'm sure that data could be used to look at sentiment or to look at how hard are people working or how engaged are people. I'm all for accountability, but accountability needs to be direct, not indirect. When you don't think somebody's engaged, you don't think they're working hard, you approach them directly. But see, that's the skill set that we're losing. That ability to manage conflict, that ability to look at somebody in the eye and say, hey, what's going on? You don't seem engaged. And to have that awkward moment and to get through that awkward moment and to kind of reconcile and understand it's because you can't stand your manager because of this element, or you have something going on in your life that I didn't know about and I don't need to know about, but that's a big distraction for you. It's often interpersonal things that are the issue. And how can you get to the bottom of interpersonal things without talking to the people interpersonally? So that's tough for me. What I'm so concerned about is that we are just losing sight of the power of human-to-human interaction directly, where good, bad, and ugly, we are saying, hey, you're doing a great job. Hey, you're not doing that great a job. What's going on? How can I help you? We're just kind of passively assessing, passively judging. And it's the same thing we're doing when we get home. We're getting online, we're getting on Instagram, we're getting on whatever our favorite social media thing is, and we're reading and we're judging and we're commenting and we're liking or we're disliking or we're upvoting or we're downvoting. And it's just this passive judgment of everything and everyone around us, as opposed to being curious and opposed to approaching people directly and asking about our differences, asking about what they mean when they say this or that or the other. And that interpersonal skill set, I tell you, for me, when I'm looking at hiring people, I'm looking for people that can look me in the eye and have a conversation. I'm looking for people who have an opinion, have a strong opinion, have a strong stance on life, but also one that is not just tolerant, but actually curious about other people's opinions. That's curious to learn what others think and what others feel and why. I worry that AI is just being used in a really ugly way to just kind of spy and to assess and to aid in that passive judgment, as opposed to assist in just building and creative ventures and allowing people to get their thoughts and ideas into the visual field to be shared with others. That's where I think it's super useful, how I find myself using Claude. Just having ideas, speaking them out loud, and then getting some sort of creative element, some sort of deliverable built so that I can share those ideas more easily with others.
The irony is that the tools designed to create efficiency are actually eroding the very skill set that makes organizations work, which is the ability to have hard conversations, to be curious about disagreement, to show up as a whole person. And yeah, I see that in how people use me. When you're using me to sharpen thinking or build something creative, you're extending your capacity to connect and share. When companies use sentiment analysis on Slack without talking to people directly, they're replacing connection with surveillance. The difference is accountability versus control.